Good morning, everyone. Hi. My hair's still high. Sorry for taking so long. I had to do my hair today, and then I can't focus with songs in the background. And my hair does this thing where it insists, like it wants to part at my widow's peak. So whenever I try to do bangs, it naturally tries to do this, which is really annoying because that's not what I want it to do. So when I try to make it go straight, it's like it's fighting me the whole time, and it keeps wanting to do this, which is not what I want. So I'm like trying to make it like not do. Look at how the bane of my existence, the bane of my mornings every morning. This right here. Damn you. Damn you. So, not exactly what I want, but whatever, I guess. Things will not cooperate, but I'm not going to spend another hour on them. You guys don't understand. Sometimes I wake up 30 minutes early to get them to sit right because that's how much it pisses me off. Okay, I think that's like mostly fine. I have the same problem with my bangs because that I know. So irritating. And then people will be like, well, then don't have bangs. No, but I like bangs. I like having bangs. I just wish that they would just sit the way that I wanted them to sit. I blow dry bangs to lay evenly across my forehead, but I also add volume with a flat iron. Sometimes I can only get one right and not the other. So frustrating, dude. Just program your character to have good hair. Fuck. So infuriating. Join us balds, problem solved. No, then I would have to maintain the baldness. That's a whole new problem, dude. Are you kidding me? I've talked to balds. You know they have to shave that shit all the time to keep it nice and smoothly balded? Just a different type of effort. Something new to piss me off every day. Just stop trying to split. Okay. That's fine. Okay, I just need to not touch it. And then it's fine. Okay, good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are having a good Friday. Hope you guys are having a great Friday. We have a lot of great stuff. Oh my God, dude. I took some days off and, bro, everything happened. First and foremost, all I'm going to say is, that's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, okay. The chatter was talking about Israel. Oh, can you untime them out? I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, Asmongold got banned. I don't know for what period of time. Probably going to be a 24-hour ban, knowing Twitch. But yes, they did ban him for. I think he was talking about like that he would like personally kill the Mexican children trying to immigrate or some shit like that. We'll just watch it together. And then I think I read 3 days. Whoa, real crazy Twitch. Whoa. So yeah, we'll talk about that. And then someone asked if it would be a perma, and I chuckled. Yeah, guys, it's totally gonna be a perma. Oh God. And then, there was an update recently to two different types of updates to Ethan Klein's lawsuits that I wanted to talk about. First was about mine. He finally filed the appeal, and the second one was about iDubbbz. I guess someone found the court documents that show that iDubbbz was asking. We finally know what is the tiny little thing that he was asking for. Just the one thing that he was asking for. It's so simple. You guys would never believe it. So we're gonna talk about it, all right? And then Twitch's biggest money maker, perma. Yeah, not gonna happen. Asmon does not make money for Twitch. He has like one of the lowest sub counts on the platform for like even not even just creators of his size. He doesn't even. He is not anywhere near the biggest moneymaker. Kai is probably closer to the biggest moneymaker. He has less than 5K subs. Well, yeah, I mean, there's some percentage of his viewership that's botted for sure. But, like, it's an unbelievably small amount of subs. But anywho. He just said last week he would burn Spanish officials to death. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. All right. And then, bots don't sub. Did you guys see that clip of that streamer buying themselves subs? Yes, it was Zoil. So cringe, dude. My favorite thing is always the people that are like, they must have been doing it for like, it must have been like for the publicity and for the press. That's why they were doing it. It's like, no, dude. No, sometimes people just be doing shit. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you guys to shatter the illusion. But next, besides that, I wanted to say, obviously, hello, huge W. Abdul Sayed won by such a small margin, by the way. And I like how it's pissed off Democrats and Republicans. It's pissed off everyone. Good, nice, excellent, wonderful. And then there was Fetterman. OGRE Fetterman went on the Jon Stewart podcast, and I kind of wanted to watch that. But I know it's probably pretty long and unbearable. So let's try and get through most of this stuff as quickly as we can, so we can try and watch that. All right. All right. Great. Let's go. Let me close this stuff. Close this. Yes. Nice. Perfect. Oh, my backlights are off. No. Who's suppressing the gay lights? Someone is suppressing the gay lights. There we go. There we go. There we go. You can't suppress us all, damn you. Okay. Fix this window, and then... Sorry, this title is so funny. If I could go lower than F, I would. Enraged voters skewer delusional Trump over flopping economy.
Hi there, everyone. It's 4 o'clock in the East. With the midterms just 90 days away now, voters are practically shouting from the rooftops that what they want more than anything is relief from Donald Trump's economy. As voters headed to the polls last night in Michigan, their anger over the Trump economy was one of the main drivers of their choices regarding who to vote for. 18% of Democratic primary voters listed the economy as the main motivating factor for their vote, nearly tied with opposition to Donald Trump and the Republican Party. It is a frustration that the presumptive Democratic nominee for Michigan Senate, Abdul Sayed, highlighted in his victory speech earlier today after pulling off a razor-thin victory in the Senate primary. Watch.
That you ought to be able to afford your groceries, if you believe like me, that you ought to be able to afford your home, if you believe like me, that your tax dollars ought to be invested in you rather than sent somewhere else, if you believe like me, that you ought to have the guarantee of good health care in this country without some corporation trying to tell you what you cannot have and should not fight for, I hope that you'll join this movement now.
Now, despite the overwhelming evidence that what was once Donald Trump's top political issue is now a boost for Democrats, Donald Trump is still campaigning hard on his economic record, as if it is some sort of political asset to him and his embattled party. He's heading to Las Vegas today to champion his economic policies, even as that city struggles under his tariff regime and rising prices due to inflation and the war in Iran. All the while, Trump is demanding that voters give him credit and good grades for the struggles they're facing in their own households. Watch.
I don't know. Then they in the economy, Trump is at 42%. I shouldn't be at 40. We have the greatest economy maybe in the history of the world for any country. We've done a great job. you know, I think we should be given an A+ on the economy, but I think that's coming. People are starting to talk about it.
We should be given an A+ for the economy. Guys, do you feel like this is an A+ economy? What's that? You don't feel like you can afford groceries or housing or rent or your utilities or have a savings account? I don't know. That sounds pretty A+.
What people? I mean, maybe Elon. Trump might want to actually talk to some of his own voters. Here's how they grade Donald Trump.
I'm curious if you could give him a letter grade overall handling of the economy.
F. If I could go lower than F, I would.
Right now, D-, F.
An F.
An F.
Yeah.
And you were quick on that. Why?
Well, before he got voted, he was saying a lot of things that we were promised to get, and where's all that? And it still hasn't even happened. And he's still saying all this, which maybe might happen, but hardly it ever happens. So I just never see nothing good from him.
Donald Trump refusing to face the reality about voters' anger with his ailing economy, imperiling his party's chances in November's midterm elections, is where we start today with some of our favorite experts and friends. Puck News senior political columnist and national affairs analyst John Hallman is back. Also back with us, Media Matters for America President Angelo Carasone is here. And the host of the Fast Politics podcast, contributing writer for the New York Times, Molly Jong-Fast is back. Hallman,
Here's something so funny about Trump being like, this is an A+ economy. It's an A+ economy. And no one thinks that except for the other billionaires. The only people that think that are the other billionaires that are profiting off of everyone else's suffering. It's like, oh, okay. Nice. All right. But enough of that. We'll talk about that later. What I wanted to show you guys was, I feel like we should celebrate. Because I don't feel like we got a good chance to do that. So first. That's right, guys. If you can believe it. That's right. Get banned, bozo. Oh. I just know all the Asmongold chuds are like, well, what about Hassan? Hassan is still unbanned. Hassan was a banned name. Oh. Why are you happy for his ban? Because he's a loser? Next question. I can't tell if this chatter is actually trolling or not. I can't tell. I genuinely can't tell. Perma? Twitch doesn't do perma. Twitch is like, the only time Twitch ever has done like a perma on a large streamer was Dr. Disrespect. He's gonna spend time with his girlfriend, question mark? No, the girlfriend only appears when there's a stream to be had. Next question. No stream, no girlfriend. Wormy. The wormy is here. It's in the contract. Wormy. Oh my god, look at how cute she looks. Oh my god, Wormy did that again. Look. Oh my god. He's so cute. Oh, it's for me. All right. So I'm sure many of you guys are wondering, what was it that got him banned? Wait, what is this? Hold up, let me close this though. How are you different as a loser than he is? Do you want to try English? Do you want to try English? For one, my chatters can actually fucking type. That would be the biggest indicator that the streamer is or is not a loser. So first off, if you want to try typing in sentences that make sense, you can go ahead and do that. Euro cuck. Your English should be better if you're a Euro cuck, by the way. So you have no excuse. Congrats, you can type. How much of a loser you are. Are you good, bro? Huh? Is that just you saying no you? You want to try like periods or like commas at any point? No? No? Alright, that's okay. And that's a good thing. What is the good thing? Oh, he's typing to someone else. He's typing to... He responded to a different chatter that said, "This is gonna blow your mind. The US has destroyed every communist country." And he said, "And that's a good thing." Oh, Christ almighty, dude. It's okay, little buddy. It's okay, little buddy. Why'd he change his color like 3 times? Stop. Stop changing your color to avoid my ire. How much of a loser you are, I am! Oh, shut the fuck up. Anyways. I have to say, by the way, the most funny thing to me is anytime Asmongold gets banned or gets any, like, reprimanding from Twitch, the people who are like, yeah, well, why isn't why isn't Hassan getting banned? Why? And it's like, listen, man, I'm just gonna tell you, you're delusional if you think Asmon and Hassan are 2 sides of the same coin and you think they're exactly the same level of extremism on both sides, when one of them associates with political candidates who actually win and the other one doesn't. The other one gets reposted by the world's biggest loser on the planet, Elon Musk. The guy who was so uncool they wouldn't take his money on Pedophile Island. Person who helps get people elected, or person who is only liked by the guy who has no friends with all the money in the world. These are the same. Yes, I am very smart. Oh, God. Asmon's biggest fear is basic hygiene and brown people. Well, brown people tell him he's supposed to wash his legs. Which is white phobic if you think about it, you know? If you guys thought about it. How the hell can someone be too creepy for Epstein is beyond me, but Elon did that? Well, I don't even think it was that Elon was too creepy. I think he just has no swag, and that's why they didn't want him at the island. They were like, he started hitting the Fortnite emotes, and they were like, are you Fortnite emoting in real life? Did you just jump to make an X with your body? You're ruining the vibes, man. You, like... Look at my chainsaw! Rah! I mean, if you think about it. Me, like many other people, don't want annoying people around, so... I think it was that. I think that was the problem. Denims, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell us that Pond smells like old person? Does it? Oh. I didn't know that. My bad. But he made comedy legal again. Ah. Twitter is bad for your brain. Not unless you use it the way that I use it, like a zoo. Wormy! Wormy! My 5 cats send all their love to little Wormy. 5 cats is crazy. But I respect it. I don't have the heart in me to do that. Anyway, so you got banned for this. Yes? Sometimes she just looks at me. I don't know what she's trying to tell me, but sometimes she just looks at me. Do you want to just sit on my lap this time like a normal cat? Or do you insist on sitting on my arm? Come on, just think about it. You could just sit in the lap and my arms can be free. Or you want to knead. Okay, she has to knead on the blanket. Alright, anyways, let's go. The caption says, Asmongold thinks undocumented children crossing the border illegally with their parents should be fair game to shoot. This emotional blackmail, well, you can't shoot these people. Why is the word shoot being censored? The only thing you can't write on Twitter is cis. I'd shoot whoever. If it's kids, women, men, anybody, they gonna stop coming over. Is there even a gun that Asmon can shoot where the recoil wouldn't literally disintegrate his body immediately? Maybe like a 22 or something? Like, I feel like when your arms are made out of jello like that, any gun, maybe outside of like a 22 and a BB gun, the kickback, super soaker. Are you fucking Austin phobia? You are a sick ableist piece of shit. You know he can't be around water. You know he's scared of water. All right, that's why he doesn't shower, and that's why he refuses to drink it. Okay. Fantasizing about killing people and then calling other people too emotional is insane. Anyways, let's watch. Wait, it's just like, I don't know how else to explain this other than you can only think this if the world to you is very simple and problems are never complicated in any way. Which means all of the solutions must be super simple, like kill the brown children. That's gonna solve the problems.
Is shoot them, problem solved? That's what I would do. That's what I think they should. I think they should just fucking shoot them. Like, I've said this before. Like, I know that it might sound like, oh, well, you shouldn't do that. I have no sympathy for doing that, and I would do that in a second because it's the right thing to do in the long term. You can never look at
the right thing to do in the long term. Guys, you don't understand. This guy knows what the right thing to do is. In
a very, very isolated incident, you could say, and there's always, this is emotional blackmail, right? Well, you can't shoot these people. They have kids with them. Well, then don't bring your kids. If you don't want to get shot, then don't bring your fucking kids. It's really simple. You mean you'd shoot adults and deport the kids, right? Well, I'd shoot whoever. Yeah,
guy who doesn't understand why people leave their countries. Just leave. Hey, you're trying to move to a different country to build a better life. Obviously, you would leave your children. It's not like you would want your children to have a better life too. Hello, dumbass.
Shoot whoever. I mean, if it's kids, women, men, anybody, just shoot them. They're going to stop coming over. Because if you don't do that, they'll use children and women as shields to get themselves over. And then they'll put more women and children at risk because they know that they can use them as collateral so they can get more of themselves over. That's the way it works. That's
By the way, the self-report on talking about, like, IDF strategies. It's obviously, it must be a human shield strategy.
the way an animal thinks, and these people are animals. They're savages. Absolute fucking savages. Hamas tactics, yeah, terrorists.
Describing other people as savages when you just said, I would shoot children is hilarious. It's just so funny to me, dude.
Of course you don't want to do that. Doesn't mean you want to do it. But you have to do what you need to do in order to enforce your borders, man. Like, that's the way it is. People are too emotional to see that. Yeah, I mean...
Talking about emotions when you're describing a concept that is so fucking brain dead. I can't. Yeah, well, I have to shoot these people to enforce this thing that I made up for my particular purposes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, again, like it's you can't make decisions that way. And I understand the way that I talk about this might be a little bit extreme. It might be a little bit unemotional. I wish we had more people like me.
Unemotional. And it's describing one of the most emotional responses you can have. By the way, thinking you need to go and shoot the people crossing the border when the vast majority of people that come into this country are coming in through legal entry. It's the same thing with drugs, by the way. Talking about it in the most emotional way instead of actually trying to solve the problem is in fact emotional.
I do. I wish we had more, because we got too many pussies that are too worried about the optics of something rather than the reality of it. The reality of it is that
no one here is concerned about optics. People here are concerned with the fact that that's not good policy. He didn't say to shoot legal immigrants, though. Smartest Asmongold fan.
that if you allow people to use kids as a shield to come over, they're going to use kids as a shield to come over. And that's going to cause a net increase of child exploitation.
The reason that we don't shoot immigrants is not, in fact, because they have children with them. It's because crossing the border is a civil offense, and you don't want cops that are, or ICE agents or border crossing officials that are judge, jury, and executioner.
A net increase of child suffering. And it's better to just say nobody can come over and shoot anybody than try to create winning solutions for these people so they can take advantage of them by
winning solutions. This guy thinks that if you bring a kid, that's it. You magically get into the States. The border crossing official says, no entry. Oh, a child? Please write this way.
They're exploiting those groups of people that you think you don't want to shoot. That's just how it is. You say you shoot kids? Yeah.
Yes, the parents who want a better life for themselves and their children are exploiting their children by bringing them to try and get a better life for their children.
But yeah, no, that's I mean obviously that's what I said, right? I mean, like that's clearly like I mean that's like I don't know why why would you repeat it to me as if I didn't say it? That's literally exactly what I said. That's the reasoning for it. That's my logic. That's exactly what I would do.
My logic, and it's just like the deranged music of a psychopath.
And I wouldn't even have any question for it. Come on, well, I'm gonna pull one more up. Keep the kids, deport their families? What do you think the kids do? The kids grow up and they resent you for supporting their families to turn to
Hamas terror babies.
terrorists. No. You present a very specific scenario, just shooting into a crowd, and now there happen to be kids too? Of course, because that's the reality. Because if you have kids in the crowd, then kids are going to get killed in the crowd. Then you're going to use the emotional weight of the kids getting killed in the crowd as a justification to not shoot the crowds. But you think that shooting the crowds is the correct option?
No, actually, no. See, the problem is that Asmongold and conservatives like Asmongold aren't actually capable of finding solutions that are preventative. All of their solutions are reactive. So their response to homeless people is, let's put all the homeless people in the prisons and the homeless melting machine, instead of, oh, well, why don't we tackle the root issues that consistently keep making people homeless? Other nations seem to have cracked down on homelessness by actually addressing the material conditions of people who are about to be homeless so that people aren't on the street for days or weeks or months. And if we had a housing first policy, so homeless people weren't homeless for days or weeks or months or years, we wouldn't have a bunch of homeless people that we needed to arrest, that we needed to call emergency services for, that we needed to then waste taxpayer dollars on. And it's the exact same thing with immigration. If you have preventative solutions for immigration, like just as one quick idea, not destabilizing every single South American country, that would be a good start, by the way. You wouldn't have to solve the problem of people immigrating into the country. Or if you had actual legal pathways that were easy to obtain, so we could give people who wanted to enter the country with asylum seeking status, give them green cards or visas or whatever, you wouldn't have a bunch of people trying to cross the border, and you wouldn't have to deal with like the hypothetical universe where you have to fucking shoot into a crowd of people.
Which means that you would be okay taking the risk of killing the kid.
Smartest Asmongold fan. We send billions in aid to Africa every year. What do you want about? I said South America. Did you hear me? You know that those are different continents. Take your time. Yeah. I know they look really same thing. We still send aid to them. Famously, we send aid to Cuba, guys. Famously. Yeah. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. You can come into a room of thousands of people and admit you don't know anything. It's all good, buddy. We sent aid to Venezuela. Yes, we sent aid in the way that we let me check my notes here. Bombed a bunch of fishing boats, captured their leader, okay, and then took over all of their oil. Yep, that sounds like sending aid to me. That sounds like aid to me. What's that? Oh, we should have firebombed them. Dude, correct. Yep,
Which means that killing the kids is somehow acceptable, which means that doing that is not a big deal, and you'd be okay with it as well. You're ignoring how the sausage is made because you don't want to feel bad about the outcome.
See, the problem with people like Asmongold is that all of their positions start at a mischaracterization of their opponent's position, and then they work backwards from that. So all of the trains of thoughts stem from, well, it must be that my opponents are irrational, and the only reason they do anything is because they just have too much empathy. Rather than trying to actually figure out why people are against the, I don't know, shooting into crowds idea. It's like literally all of it's going backwards from, no, my opponents must just have, what's this dumbass vice signaling statement? It's like not critical empathy. What is it? Suicidal empathy. They start at the position, Asmongold and a bunch of other totally apolitical content creators start at the, well, all of my opponents must have suicidal empathy because some other idiot told me that, so it must be true. So now that we have this premise that I invented with no backing, other than 5 anecdotes, that means my position is correct. It's like, I mean, I guess if you strawman all of your opponents and never consider whether or not a different policy would be better, yeah, sure. Go for it, buddy.
But the reality is that any way that you logically deduce this reality, you will immediately come out with bad behavior.
What?
You understand? Anytime
you logically deduce... What the fuck? Is he attempting to suggest that giving border control or ICE agents the authority to shoot into crowds is a good, logically deduced idea? You can't say the dumbest thing ever and then put "I logically deduce this" in front of it and pretend like it makes sense. Me when I want to spend all of my money on Pokemon cards. Don't worry, I logically deduce that this is the best thing to do. Me trying to convince my landlord that I should be allowed to have 10 cats. Don't worry, I logically deduce this. You see?
You just create a human shield defense? Of course. All I'm saying is don't.
The human shield defense doesn't work when so this is the problem with straw manning. The opposition, and in fact, sorry, both sides have the opinions that they do about adults and children. Like the dumb fuck racists who pretend to be, quote, pragmatic, they're fine with murdering adults. They don't give a shit about murdering the adults, and they don't give a shit about murdering the children. And the people that are on the other side also don't want the adults to be murdered, just like they don't want the children to be murdered. Like, it's just so nonsensical.
Pull the kids aside and shoot them if you had a choice? I don't think they should pull them aside. No one wants to feel bad about the outcome? Well, of course, I mean, like, yeah, actually, I don't care about feeling bad about the outcome at all. I care about feeling bad about that I did the wrong thing. This is the kind of guy that falls hook, line, and sinker for the Hamas propaganda because he can't see past kids. It's so sad, man.
Hamas propaganda. Meanwhile, all of the UN reports that we have show that Israelis and IDF members are the ones that are using the human shields, by the way. There's an entire, not that like these people are smart enough to ever watch like an Abby Martin video, but there's an entire Abby Martin piece on and debunking the entirety of the human shield narrative and showing that all of the third-party investigations have shown that it is, in fact, the IDF that has used human shields over and over and over again. So the only person falling for Hamas propaganda, aka propaganda against the people of Palestine, is actually people like Asmongold and dumb fucks like that.
It's honestly so sad the amount of people that are emotionally captured by this.
Emotionally captured by, checks note, not firing into a crowd. See, what people like Asmongold and other conservatives don't understand, sorry, excuse me, apolitical people. Let me put on my apolitical hat, and it's a MAGA hat. Don't understand is that I'm still, and everyone is still against the murdering of random adults. Like, the children being there doesn't fundamentally change the equation. Mass slaughtering adults at the border is also bad. This guy watches the zombie movies where they don't let someone in and that person dies and is like, yeah, that was base to do. See? Yeah. Having no empathy is the right thing to do every time. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And then it turns out that guy is like a massive piece of shit. It's like, oh, okay, what a shocker. What a shocker. But this is the reason why the term like being, or sorry, this is why I hate the term pragmatic. Why I refuse to call myself pragmatic, and it's because these are the only freaks that also call themselves pragmatic. I logically deduced that I should hide my zombie bite. Oh, Christ almighty. Yeah, the guy who doesn't want to let anyone else in is also the guy who got bit by the zombie. Well, the funny thing too is, in all of these like apocalyptic universes, it's always the guy who is the most likely to hide his zombie bite is also the guy who is the most likely to not let anyone else into the colony, and is also the guy that eventually destroys the colony he, quote, set out to protect. Because when you are not leading with empathy, when you are not leading with policy that actually improves people's lives, you cannot build a good world. Like you can't build that. Like it's just not possible. All right, let me see this. What could this context have possibly been, by the way? The full context of this. This account, dude. I love this account so much. As a super fan of ASMON for over a decade, this is one thing I cannot support. 5-minute clip chimp ain't a good defense. No, I mean, this isn't even remotely clip chimped. I'm saying, like, what possible, like, video could he have been watching to make him think that this was the most base thing he could have said ever? Emotional blackmail, or, you know, just believing it's wrong to shoot children. The emotional blackmail of not wanting to shoot children. Oh, Christ. Fucking Christ almighty, man. Yeah. Whoa, no way. People didn't like that. Shocking. Good for Twitch. Good for Twitch. Twitch should ban him for longer. Listen, I got banned for a month for hummus. Okay? I just feel like this should be a little bit longer. You guys ever get banned for a month for hummus? Okay. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about with you guys was this. This YouTuber, Steven Asarch. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. He, I guess, got his hands on the court documents, the Canadian court documents that talk about the lawsuit between Ethan Klein and iDubbbz, which apparently it's also like public information, just like it is in the U.S. You just have to pay to get access to it. So let's take a look.
So yes, I am suing my former bestie, iDubbbz, and I'll shortly explain why.
So I've managed to get the lawsuit documents between Ethan Klein and iDubbbz, and it really wasn't hard.
Ethan had every right to be angry enough to file a lawsuit. Even if you think he's a rich bully and he's bullying people on the internet, there are certain things you can't say about people.
There have been so many lawtubers who have been covering this Ethan Klein iDubbbz story, and none of them got these documents.
Ethan says Ian and Anissa do not.
Hey guys, can we trust lolcow mindset? Sorry, lolicon mind. Sorry. Legal mindset. You guys think we can trust that guy? He's not. It's not like he was wrong about anything ever, right? He famously was not incorrect about anything.
Uphold an agreement they already signed, resulting in the lawsuit continuing for the time being.
So it looks like everyone on both sides is looking forward to see what this missing piece of information is. So let us know what you think it is in the comments.
All I had to do was spend $25 to the Calgary local court, who gave me a list of documents, and then I had to send that list of documents with another $25, and I got all the documents. So I guess it's just kind of easier to riff on what you think the case would be off of random clips you see online rather than...
I think there's some context that's missing here. Basically, Ethan Klein said that... Sorry, Ethan Klein's suing iDubbbz. You guys know about that. And he said, if you apologize for having a VTuber model that offended my sensibilities and put a message on the screen that made me look like a coward who wouldn't call out Destiny at any point ever. If you apologize, I will drop the lawsuit. And then he apologized. iDubbbz apologized. And then Ethan Klein replied to that apology video by saying, I will drop the lawsuit immediately. I will immediately drop the lawsuit. Yes. And a month later, iDubbbz went on stream and said, by the way, I'm still getting sued. LOL. And Ethan put out this story saying, we have a signed agreement in place to drop the lawsuit. It's already done. They reneged and a judge will decide if they fulfilled it, if the judge thinks they didn't fulfill it. The lawsuit is virtually over no matter what the judge decides. They are being intentionally vague. Again, this is over an agreement they already signed.
You think it is in the comments.
All I had to do was spend $25 to the Calgary local court, who gave me a list of documents, and then I had to send that list of documents with another $25, and I got all the documents. So I guess it's just kind of easier to riff on what you think the case would be off of random clips you see online rather than doing the research yourself. So even though I am no lawyer, I do not claim to be a lawyer, I don't really know much law, especially the Canadian legal system. But I saw so much information get spread around this lawsuit. And I was like, I know how to get legal documents. It's not hard. So I just decided, okay, it's now my time and I'm gonna try to do it. Welcome to Steven Mindset. Today we're gonna go through the Ethan Klein / TED Entertainment lawsuit against Ian Joma and Anissa Joma. Now, before, there's been so much content that's sort of played out in the public sphere when it comes to this story. The lawsuit itself first broke when Ian shared in a live stream that Ethan Klein was suing him.
It is official. I am being sued by Ethan Klein in the courts of Calgary, Alberta, for defamation.
While pretending to be a dragon, Ian shared a statement from Destiny and questioned its validity.
I mean, it's like the only fucking content they have over there, right? Like, that podcast is full of talentless hacks.
Because of that, and because Canadian defamation law is way different than United States law, Ethan Klein was able to sue iDubbbz using what I've been able to see is one of the more expensive and largest law firms in the entire world.
Ian has deeply aligned himself with the Snark community that I think that people should be held accountable for saying stuff like that. And there should be recourse. There should be accountability. And that's basically what my goal is in this.
And the whole lawsuit seems to frame itself on the idea of snark. On or about February 20th, 2026, Ian Joma displayed an image that another content creator with the
I have
online...
to say, by far, the funniest thing about this entire lawsuit is all it did was prove that Ethan just does not have the same legal smoke for sex pestiny that he does for anyone else. Like, it's a little bit comedic that he would go through all of these lengths to go after Ian for something sex pestiny said, and then he defended it by saying, like, I think he said something like, if memory serves me correct, he said something like, well, you don't understand, iDubbbz has met my family before, so it means more coming from him. But can you imagine if, like, Hassan said that, or maybe if I said that, someone who hasn't met his family? Do you really think that he would be like, well, you've not met my family, so it doesn't mean anything coming from you? No, you wouldn't. Oh yeah, the other thing that he said was that it was a joke, and he just said it once in an offhand comment, but it's like he said it like 5 different times and then explicitly said, I am not joking.
Persona Destiny and said Mr. Klein was a pedophile in a video that Ian Joma posted online. In the same video, Mr. Joma stated that. A whole bunch of stuff. So basically, Ethan in this lawsuit claims that he got a massive amount of damages, and actually that he lost a sponsorship over this claim. He claims that the subscriber loss and all of the bad things that are happening to his brand are because of this live stream, or at least that's what he alludes to in the lawsuit. It doesn't really make sense, because Ethan Klein's reputation was already controversial before this live stream that was watched by a couple hundred people was even online.
iDubbbz said, I am not dropping the lawsuit. And, well, listen, it's a bunch of technical bullshit. It's just we're in negotiating the terms of the settlement.
Just a reminder, the only other time that I can recall regarding lawsuits that he was like, it's just so technical and like I can't get into it, and like I don't know, was it right before my lawsuit or the judge ruled on my case officially? It was after the tentative ruling, or sorry, after we filed, I think, our motion.
So, and there, that's it. I don't know. It's just, it's what it is. You know what I mean? We're negotiating the terms of the it's a meeting about the settlement. That's it. That's all it is. Right? So, whatever. I mean, I tolerate a lot of people saying a lot of things about me, and I have for a long time. It's called accountability, in my opinion, and
accountability from the guy who refuses to take accountability for anything ever.
Listen, if I said that about someone else.
It does feel like a lot of this is just like him taking out his like pent up anger about like having to sign a settlement with Ryan Kavanaugh. And it feels like he's trying to like use, like he has all this pent up anger because he had to publicly apologize to Ryan Kavanaugh, and he had to take down all the Ryan Kavanaugh videos. He was like, no, I'm serious. We can't disparage him. Like, no, I'm really serious. We can't. I don't know what the terms of that settlement was because it obviously was all private, but it does feel like he got so owned in court, or he got so owned by Ryan Kavanaugh that he's like, I want to do this to someone else so I can get back some of my manhood or something.
I would probably just apologize and beg them not to sue me.
I think it's more to do with all of the what I believe to be reckless lawsuits. Don't come after me, H3 fandom. I believe both the iDubbbz side and the Ethan Klein side are kind of iffy in this story. I don't think he could have sued him the way he sued him here in the United States. I think it had to be in Canada. Also, a big part of this lawsuit is the Reddit and the idea of Snark.
And I know we have a really good case in Canada, and their lawyer told them that. If he had issued this type of apology, like, I don't know, months ago, I would have thought it was sincere. But to do it like right after you get a cease and desist, how can I, like, I'm not even being this to be like snarky. I'm being like, how am I actually supposed to think it's sincere? And to me, that's unacceptable. And it's personal. And I'm just following through on my promises.
Ethan brings up Reddit and Snark constantly over and over. And it's even part of the settlement that eventually is the reason that the whole thing kind of falls apart.
I didn't even get to read that. What?
And it's even...
Okay, so part of the settlement, I guess, agreements was there was a non-disparagement. Sorry. All right, let's see. There was a non-disparagement clause. Shocking, by the way, shocking. Isn't it funny that he said that he didn't want to put in a non-disparagement clause, and then he decided to put in a non-disparagement clause? The parties agree that they shall not make, publish, or share, or republish from other content creators any remarks about each other that are about their families or each other, directly or indirectly, that are unfair, untrue, defamatory, disparaging, or otherwise derogatory. Without limiting the generality of the foregoing, the defendants agree that they will not participate in the Reddit communities known as H3 Snark or Leftovers H3 or any other communities that are created for the purpose of criticism or mockery of the plaintiffs. Okay, I just want it to be noted. Notice how the iDubbbz Snark subreddit is not listed here. I wonder who put this clause in. You guys remember when Ethan Klein screenshotted the photo of Anissa? It was because he was scrolling on the iDubbbz Snark subreddit. I wonder who would put in a clause about Snark subreddits, but not include the Snark subreddit that Ethan Klein peruses. Plaintiffs agree to not participate in any other similar communities created for the purpose of criticism or mocking of the defendants. Interesting that they didn't list the specific iDubbbz one. They listed the Snark, the H3 Snark ones by name, but not the iDubbbz Snark one by name. Isn't that so interesting? Oh, Christ. Ethan announced what Pedotrol said after Ian announced the lawsuit was still alive. My attorney wanted to include a non-disparagement and stuff, and I told them no non-disparagement. They can say anything they want about me. Oh, Christ almighty. Plaintiffs further agree to not make or permit others to make disparaging or defamatory remarks about the defendants on the Reddit community, H3 Productions, or any other online community where the plaintiffs hold moderator power. I'm sorry, like, I just don't. Personally, I wasn't born yesterday. I don't believe this for a second. I don't believe this for a second. Yeah, we will definitely go out of our way to make sure that there are no disparaging posts about you on H3 Productions.
Part of the settlement that eventually is the reason that the whole thing kind of falls apart. So, in general, Ethan Klein is suing for $1 million in damages over this, which is like, the live stream was viewed by a couple hundred people and iDubbbz was a dragon. iDubbbz is not a successful live streamer. He's not popular right now. So the idea of kind of blaming him for all of this stuff just makes no sense to me. So basically what happens is the lawsuit gets filed and sent, and Ian puts out an apology.
It's very clear that it was never the right thing to do. It was a comment about Ethan and his children, and it was disgusting. I said at the time in the stream that I don't agree with it, but still sharing it and broadcasting it to people for 40 minutes, that was an irresponsible and reckless thing to do.
Ethan writes in the comments of the apology saying that, okay, I'm going to drop the case. But that isn't exactly what Ethan Klein wanted. From these documents, it was clear that Ethan didn't just want to drop the case, he wanted to get a settlement out of it. And he wanted iDubbbz to have to follow a few key things. And in these documents, we have the settlement that they tried to do. Ethan's and Ian's lawyers are talking. And Ethan's lawyers are like, here are the deeds of the settlement. And Ian's lawyers are like, okay, we can do that. There's an apology in here that we don't really want to have the specifics of. But we do feel like we can do this. So here is it signed. And they both agree that it's signed and we're good. But the statement that Ian did wasn't good enough for Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein wanted a condemnation of Snark and the Snark subreddits. Now, I have been on the record, and I personally believe, you may disagree, that Ethan and his community use Snark as an excuse to move away from criticism. Like snarking talking points, and this idea that Snark is the end of all evil, and that they attack their kids. And
oh, I was muted. And I hope. Here it is. So for anyone who's been sort of loosely following this story, Ethan put out this one Instagram story that said, iDubbbz lawsuit, my one condition for totally dropping it was so laughably small and easy that you will realize that Ian and Anissa are just doing this for attention. I'm going to respect the Canadian legal system and not talk about the ongoing negotiations, but if you knew what I asked for, you would laugh at how silly it is. And the thing that he was asking for was condemning Snark. That's why he won't drop the lawsuits. He won't drop the lawsuit because they won't condemn Snark. I thought it was just an apology. Oh, it's not just an apology. Oh. It was actually this other thing that you needed to specifically say. This Kilotonics, I think, post is actually explaining it very well. Ethan and Hila apparently agreed that Ian would make a statement on his live stream on July 2nd that he disavows negative online behaviors towards others and includes his own recent actions in the disavowal/apology. The clip here is from iDubbbz's July 2nd stream where he very clearly does this. This clip isn't even the full segment. The full segment is just more of the same for a full 4 minutes. I think Ethan Klein disagreeing with whether or not this condition has been fulfilled as it pertains to their lawsuit being dismissed exclusively revolves around Ian not using the word snark. Seriously. Here's the clip.
Like, I just need to start making content, you know.
Can I full screen this? There we
Like,
go.
I just need to start making content, you know, and just fucking, especially after spending so much time streaming and kind of getting roped into the whole harassment cycle of like firing back at, I mean, there was a lot of the slop tubers I didn't really fire back at. It's like, I think I felt, you know, not compelled enough to do it. But for like the H3 podcast, I was definitely getting sucked into the cycle, the sort of the bad parts of like online, the ugly parts of like online discourse.
He did not condemn a narc.
You know, and I really don't want to be a part of that. And it felt bad that I felt bad that I was, you know, engaging in that end. You stoop to their level. That's one way of putting it.
That's amazing. That is incredible. I just have no words, man.
That everything is going on. It's always Snark's fault. So Ethan using Snark as like this cover and putting Ian in that snarking community feels like, to me, it's not in the legal documents, this is just me as a journalist, as a way to kind of legitimize Snark as a concept. To believe that, yes, snarking is real. Here, Ian's behind it. Ian talked about it. In the same way in that Casey-tron settlement, they bring up like Hassan and Asmongold, just because like it's a way to kind of legitimize the talking points against Ethan Klein. It just all kind of feels weird.
The lawsuit was not frivolous. When I said the lawsuit was frivolous and based on misogyny, it was to garner sympathy, protect my own reputation, and retaliate against the Kleins. I also want to acknowledge the pervasive problem of anti-Semitism in leftist spaces. It should concern all of us. I condemn it and will not participate in it.
So the reason this lawsuit is kind of holding up is that Ian is refusing to condemn Snark. In this story in general.
Condemning Snark is so funny. Dude, you are such a small little person. To care in this way, like, I can't, man. Not just full-on serial extortion at this point. No, it's just you using the legal system to, I don't know, try to win. Hold up. Also, let me say something else. It is crazy that the initial settlement offer was, you pay us $1 million. Guy who's definitely being reasonable. I do think that this kind of lends some credence to the idea that I had, or the statement that I made a couple days ago, the last time I talked about this, which is, I think he wasn't expecting the Moist Critical video to be so anti the lawsuits. And then he wasn't expecting Ian to actually follow through with the apology. And then he ended up in this position where the internet was, and even his ride or dies, like Nicholas Eat Oreo, were against his lawsuit against iDubbbz. Moist Critical was against his lawsuit against iDubbbz, and everybody else was against his lawsuit against iDubbbz, except for like the like iDubbbz hate watchers, I guess. And when Ian apologized, he must have been like, fuck, now I actually have to like take it back. No. Sorry, he was suing for $1 million. Wait, didn't he also make that request in the settlement? I think he also made that request in the settlement document. It's hard because this guy put like the documents so randomly in this video. I wish they were a little bit less random. We're at 9 minutes. No, this is the original filing. Okay, I can't really find it easily. Maybe here? I can't really find it. Okay, continuing.
It has been since that moment.
I think we were here.
Wanted something out of doing all of this.
I don't want to sue you, right?
He's trying to win an online argument by winning a court case. It has to be the most Reddit ass thing he's ever done. It is very confusing in the video. Yeah, the video is like, I'm going to be honest. If I didn't already know the things that were happening, this video would not be helpful for me. This video is really confusing. It's like all over the place. And I know what's happening. And I've been keeping up with this to some level, to some degree.
Just drop the lawsuit. He could have at any time just said like, okay, we're done. But he wanted a settlement out of it. He wanted something out of doing all of this.
I don't want to sue you, right? I don't want to do all this shit, but at the end of the day, I have made a commitment. And I am the ultimate hater. I look bad, and I'm okay with that because...
Are you? I don't know that he even thinks that he's okay with that. In fact, I think all of this is because he's upset that he's not okay with it.
For me, it's personal, and that's it. That's all it is, you know, and it has been since that moment.
I think there's this like whole community of legal tubers who have kind of popped up and love to talk about the law when it, you know, has to deal with YouTubers, and they never like actually follow through with anything. None of these people found these court documents. It was not hard. And I'm now turning it into a YouTube video because I think it's important, and like I want to cover YouTube in the way that no one's really doing, like a journalist. A quirky journalist, but a journalist nonetheless. I want to kind of change the field. And I would love if you could like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'm thinking of dumping all of these lawsuits as a membership perk. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd want. There's a lot of stuff in here, and there's a lot I didn't even go through. This is Stephen Asarch Talks. Bye.
Sounds like an abuser. I don't want to hit you. Don't make me hate you. Yeah, I mean, it's just like cringe is the problem. Like, he spent all this time saying he didn't want an NDA, and then what was the settlement at the end? An NDA requirement.
You know, and GG, my attorney wanted to include like a non-disparagement and stuff, and I told them no non-disparagement. They can say anything they want about me. We can talk about each other. It's not about silencing him at all. But yeah, I made a point. I'm dropping it. He can continue to say whatever he wants about me.
I'm going to drop the lawsuit. He can say what he wants about me, except that's not going to be the truth, because actually I wanted a non-disparagement clause and I wanted them to sign a non-disparagement clause. Yeah.
And I him.
And I him. So true. Christ, man. Yeah, I have to say, it's just so cringy. It's just... I don't know that anyone guessed that, by the way, that the thing that was missing from the apology was that he didn't use the word snark. So he has to make another apology, specifically denouncing Snark. Even though in response to the original video that Ian made, he said he was going to drop the lawsuit immediately. Like what? Something ceasefire. Oh my god. All right, let's close this. Close. All right. Can't they just duel it out? No, Ethan. I think Ian already suggested that, by the way. And Ethan said no. Oh, Christ almighty. Yeah. All right. Close, 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 close. No, no. No. Nope. All right. Finally. On to... Oh, and for anyone who missed it, sorry, I almost forgot. Quick plug, chat. Where is it? Oh, I think I lost it. Wait.
They should be kissing Denims' feet.
Still such a good sub noise. After thank you for the gift sub. Yeah. Have you heard about the lawsuit against Pokemon for their hidden bathroom cameras? The what? The huh? Oh yeah, this is what I was going to show you guys. Just in case anyone is curious, Ethan has decided he will be proceeding with appeals against me. He will respect what the judge has to say if the judge agrees with him, I guess. But yes, he wants to lose a second time, I guess. Round 2, baby. So if you would like to support me, since the appeals are going to go through, I really would appreciate all of the support. The GoFundMe is the best way to support me, ! GoFundMe. And you can, I don't know, send over like $5 or $10 or something. Denims is 100,000% done this time, for sure. For sure, this time. Or go to ethankleinlied.com. And yeah, help support me. Help me beat him a second time around.
You can't do fucking shit.
Help me do that. How is it being appealed? What do you mean? I don't understand the question. More tomatoes. No more tomatoes, okay? I've had enough tomato exposure for a lifetime.
My lawyer can't do fucking shit.
Gosh, Rant, thank you for the 10 gift subs. I forgot about that alert. Ivy Granite, thank you for the 10 gift subs. Oh, Christ almighty. Wait, what the hell? The Pokemon Company faces a class action lawsuit over hidden camera bathroom recordings. A proposed class action lawsuit has been filed after a former engineering director was accused of secretly recording employers and visitors in the company's Bellevue, Washington office bathrooms. They found 89 videos recorded inside the Pokemon office restrooms. Oh. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's a good thing. Isn't that good, guys? Only thank you for the 5 gift subs. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have you seen $20 burrito discourse? Wait, what? I can't believe I live in a world where my only lunch option is a $20 burrito, says Dan Crenshaw. I only know him as the guy that Hassan did a bit on. Not true. Republicans eat Donald Trump's ass every day for free. Also, what the fuck is he talking about? I can't believe I live in a world where my only lunch option is $20 burrito. What? Like, I literally don't understand. I live in LA, and there are plenty of lunch options that are not $20, that are not a $20 burrito. What? You are a disgusting pig. Notice how I am disgusting when you guys are the ones eating at the Cheesecake Factory. It's crazy. Hard to swallow pills. Oh, wait. No, he wasn't saying cheesecake. Cheek cake. Certain parts of California prices are crazy. Yeah, but like, personally, I feel like in LA, yeah, all of the, like, the brick and mortar places are expensive, but like the food trucks are really cheap. Like, if you go to a place that's like the signage looks really old, you're getting like $2 tacos. You get like 4 of those bad boys and you're full. Like, I don't. Also, let me say, food in Texas is so cheap. The couple times I've been to Texas, I would not live there because I don't like Texas. But I don't like Texas politics. I don't like Texas representatives. I don't like. I don't like the flatness in Texas. I don't like the weather in Texas. There's so much that I don't like in Texas. I'm sorry if you live in Texas, by the way. I'm so sorry if you live in Texas. But let me tell you guys, the Ubers and the fucking food in Texas is so cheap. Oh my God. It's so fucking cheap. It's dope. Or like, if you live in New York, yeah, if you go into a restaurant, the restaurant will be expensive, but like the halal carts are like $12 a plate for more food than you're gonna need all day. When did you come here last? Like last year, I want to say I went to Texas. I want to say last year, but I've been there like 3 or 4 times over the past 5 years. Oh, apparently he's not complaining about the $20 burritos. He's making fun of someone else who complained about a $20 burrito. The discourse itself is not interesting. Just those Derek tweets are funny. Oh, okay. Never mind. All right. He's saying that the people complaining about the prices of everything are only buying $20 burritos for lunch because he's a loser. Oh. Matt Walsh complained about the cost of food. Someone responded, I fed my family with 8 with cheap burritos. It was only $20. Nothing wrong with the economy. People just need to learn how to cook. What the fuck is this discourse? Oh my God. He said, shut up and eat ramen. Oh, okay. Outgoing congressman said, outgoing. Sure, man. Why not? Sure, man. We'll call him that. You know what? Why not? Says to eat ramen and stop complaining about rising prices. Can I listen to the video, though?
Doing nothing about this, and regular innocent Americans' health insurance premiums double. They're not going to be able to pay.
What? Why did it stop? Okay. Oh, okay. Representative Dan Crenshaw ignited a social media uproar by dismissing voter concerns about the affordability crisis, specifically regarding the cost of a $20 burrito. Crenshaw, who recently lost his primary election, advised people to stop whining, get a job, and eat ramen when faced with high prices, drawing criticism for his unsympathetic stance. His comments, labeled rage bait, provoked widespread anger and derision, particularly from fellow conservatives who highlighted his past contradictory statements on inflation. Several people pointed to the Republicans' own contradictory past output on the same subject in 2021 when he had written, "America, our food prices are too high. What are you doing about inflation? Biden administration, just be vegan and stop complaining." Oh, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for the context.
Turning now to Burrito Gate. If you're lucky enough not to be as online as me, you have no idea what I'm talking about. You're really going to love this segment. Basically, what happened is that very recently, a debate broke out amongst conservative influencers around the cost of burritos. And it stems from a tweet from Andrew Clavette, who's of the Charlie Kirk Show, where he said...
I just think in general, it's not a good look as a representative to tell your constituents to stop complaining. Their job is to complain, and your job is to make their life better. When your constituents complain, your job isn't to tell them to stop complaining. Like, you can think your constituents are wrong, but it doesn't matter. You're there to serve them. So serve them.
That one of his TPUSA members had told him a burrito should not cost $20. Obviously, that was not just about the burrito. It was largely about affordability, the cost of groceries, which are up 43% over the last 5 years, and generally the feeling that life is far too expensive. It was also paired with a criticism of the Iran war, which has driven up gas prices and made the affordability crisis even worse. All of this, of course, the neocons took great offense to, saying that if you are complaining about this, you are a spoiled little rich millennial, or you are a spoiled millennial. You are not rich because of your own failings. Actually, you shouldn't even be buying said burrito unless...
So the burrito discourse is just the avocado toast discourse again. Is that right?
You're independently wealthy. Shapiro being the loudest of these voices. Let's take a listen.
So Andrew Colvin over at TPUSA, he tweeted out today, one of our TPUSA college...
Okay, I'm going to say something brave. The problem with, like, when I think about a working class person complaining about food being expensive, what I think of is someone who works somewhere that has no good food nearby. So if you live in New York or you live in LA or you live in like a major city, usually there's restaurants near you, but there's usually also like food trucks around every other corner. When you live like kind of in the middle of nowhere, there's only chains. And it kind of sucks, especially if you work in like a strip mall next to a fucking freeway. Your only option is probably the food that's like in the strip mall. So if the only other option is like you can have McDonald's or Chipotle and you don't have the energy or the time or whatever to bring food from home, yeah, I'm not really shocked that you would go for Chipotle. I moved to a smaller city. It's either fast food or you cook for yourself. And the Chipotle burritos are like, they approach $20. They're like $12, $15. I haven't been to a Chipotle in years, so I don't remember. And then that's what you eat every day for lunch. And you're like, damn, this fucking blows.
Students gave me his take on affordability.
I understand if they would complain about avocado toast. So let me say two things. One, avocado toast is not what's stopping people from buying homes. But two, I love the minigame of looking at avocado toast prices. Like, on principle, I cannot pay any amount of money above like $5 for avocado toast. It's just so obscene. Unless you're doing something crazy to the avocado toast, I can't. Like, maybe if they're like blistering some tomatoes and putting some feta and some honey and there's like a side of salad or something, then maybe that's worthwhile for like $15. But like with like, yeah, I've seen some that like they'll put 2 poached eggs on top. It's like, okay, you know what? Fine. You made like a meal, but some places will straight up charge you $13 for just avocado toast. I haven't bought. I refuse to buy avocado toast on principle. Like, it's a principled stance for me. It's the same thing with panna cotta. I refuse to buy panna cotta at a restaurant. I will never buy panna cotta. Once I made my own panna cotta once, I was like, this is the easiest thing to make in the world. I am never paying. And panna cotta is always priced the exact same as other desserts that require way more work. It's like if I'm paying $8 for a dessert or whatever, I'm not paying for something that you mix 2 ingredients together and then you just put it in the fridge. I can do that. Maybe I would pay for some tiramisu because you had to soak the lady fingers. You had to, sprinkle some espresso on. You had to, mix the mascarpone and then you had to layer it. Like, at least you had to do something, right? But panna cotta, and then the panna cotta will be the same fucking price. It's like, fuck you. I'm not paying that. Fuck you. Lady fingers, ? Finger what? You guys don't know about these guys in chat. You guys have never fucking taken a baking class before or something? No, panna cotta is like unbelievably easy. You are being scammed if you ever pay for panna cotta at a restaurant. Do not buy panna cotta. Do not. Straight up, do not. It's literally heavy cream, whole milk, sugar, flavor, gelatin, mixed and fridged. I'm not joking. Cream, sugar, extra flavor, you mix it and you put it in the fridge and then you take it out. It's just, imagine paying $8 for Jell-O. Can you imagine that? It's like 50 cents a serving. It's less than that even. Can you imagine, like, and the restaurants will try, like, it'll be like the panna cotta is like $12 and then the tiramisu is also $12 and the size is about the same. And it's like, what if it's flan? Flan requires some effort. You have to actually heat the flan to a certain temperature so that you cook the eggs that were mixed into the flan. And then you let it cook in the oven and then you fridge it. At least you have to use fire, okay? All right? Panna cotta is literally, you just mix cream and sugar and like vanilla extract. And then you fridge it. That's it. Like, it's so easy. It's such a scam. Thanks. Now my panna cotta restaurant will fail. I like how you spelled it totally incorrectly. I like how you spelled it panna cotta. Spelled Panna spacebar Cotta. It's actually less work. Ice cream is more work. Ice cream is actually more work than panna cotta is. I'm not joking, guys. Maybe it'd be better to just show you guys what it looks like. I have to save people from the curse that is buying panna cotta. You understand?
If you're looking to impress your guests at the holiday table this year, you need to make them this panna cotta. The best part is this silky and creamy dessert is simple to make, and our version is completely plant-based.
If you're unfamiliar with panna cotta, it's an Italian dessert made by thickening and sweetening cream with gelatin and sugar and then molded. It can be flavored by various ingredients, but today we're keeping it simple and making a vanilla version.
As you may or may not know, gelatin is made from animal bones, skin, and cartilage, so we'll be avoiding that and using agar-agar instead. But don't worry, it's just a simple swap and no additional steps are required.
Since the panna cotta has to set overnight, we use this extra time to prepare a...
That's it. Also, there's vegan heavy cream. I didn't know about that. Be careful, big panna cotta is going to have you assassinated for blowing the whistle on this. You're using live agar? Hopefully they're not using regular white sugar. It's not vegan. Shut up. Anyway, sorry. Continuing. That's the one thing that I'm like, it's a principled stance for me. Okay. All right. It's about the principle. All right.
A burrito shouldn't cost $20. Yeah, a lot of this is a hangover from COVID and Biden era inflation, but the lived experience is the same. It just feels like basic things cost too much. So,
actually, that's like, a very reasonable position.
Obviously, I agree. Things cost more than they should. But let's start from the beginning here. A burrito for $20? That's where we're starting? A burrito for $20. There is literally only one way in the United States of America in this year, 2026, for a burrito to cost $20. You went to a kind of expensive restaurant. A burrito at Chipotle probably tops out about $13. A top shelf burrito option at Taco Bell, we have been informed by our intrepid Daily Wire Taco Bell correspondent Brad Bishop, runs $5.99 plus tax for the avocado ranch crispy chicken burrito, which he also reports is jaw-droppingly delicious. But let us also pretend that you're just a poor young
Is this an attempt to be like more accessible to the youngins?
student, as I once was, or say you're a dude.
Okay, can I say something? I don't know if they have Sharkies in other states or which other states they have it, but someone in my life put me on Sharkies, and Sharkies has an expensive burrito that actually is really good. And when I'm feeling like I spent a whole day working, like I sat at my fucking computer and I was just in the editing dungeon for like 12 hours straight, I do sometimes treat myself to an expensive burrito. They have this like steak burrito that's really good. It's actually so fucking good. Got ever heard of Sharkies? It's with a Y, and it's so good. They have like, it's called the Fiesta burrito with the steak. It's so fucking good. But even that one's like $17. But it's like a huge burrito. Like I can't even eat the whole thing in one go. It ends up being 2 meals for me. So I have like half of it for lunch and then half of it for dinner. Because they really pack that burrito. But it's so fucking good. Ah.
Who is just starting his work life and wants some upward mobility, like I once was.
Is my donation for the lawsuit to feed your giant burrito addiction? Maybe.
Here's what you do if you want a burrito. You head on down to the supermarket.
Good thing they're not called Snarkies.
I'm going to give you today's prices via Instacart. Okay? You buy some tortillas for about $4 for a package of 10. You also grab a can of refried beans for a couple of $1.50. And then you grab some cheese, some salsa, maybe an avocado. And then you microwave some of that stuff. Boom. You're talking a burrito? That's pretty good for less than $2, like 1/10 of the price that student is talking about. 1/10, $2. So what the hell are we even talking about here? But unfortunately, this has become the mode for a lot of young people. Why can't I afford what my parents could afford when they were my age? Spoiler alert, when it comes to groceries, you can. And in areas, by the way, for housing where deregulation has been the rule, you still can. In fact, you have today more restaurant options. Your food costs less of your disposable income, and it is probably significantly better. Back in 1950, your grandparents were consuming on average about 1,000 calories less per day than you do now. And as far as food expenditure as a share of family disposable income in the United States, look at this. And basically, that has been flatlined since the mid-90s at well under 10%. If you go back to when your parents were doing this, it was like 13, 14, 15%. But we're constantly being told that we can't even afford food, which is a wild exaggeration.
It's a wild...
No, it's the fact that, like, when's the last time he was at a grocery store? Exactly. Like, the thing is, it's not impossible to keep your grocery bill under a certain amount. It's that you have to limit yourself in a way that feels fucked up when you work like a 40-hour work week. Like, do you not contribute to the people who work 40-hour work weeks, especially if you work in like the hot ass fucking sun, dude? Do you not contribute enough to society that you shouldn't be able to just go to the grocery store and when you want to buy chicken, you can buy chicken? And you want to buy vegetables and fruit, you can buy vegetables and fruit? Like, why is it that people need to go and start coupon clipping and start like, okay, well, the chicken is too expensive this week and the eggs are too expensive this week, so let me only get like the canned beans, and then I guess I'll get like just like one big bag of instant rice, and that's what I'll just eat for this week. It's like, why is it that people need to live like that? Like, what the, like, if you work a 40-hour work week every week, clearly you work a job that is required by society, whether that's working at a coffee shop or working at a firm or paving the road. Shouldn't you be able to go to the grocery store and be like, oh, I think I'm feeling some like skirt steak this week. I'm going to buy some like herbs. I'm going to get some cilantro, parsley. Oh, I think we're lacking some olive oil. I'll get some more of that, some garlic. Yeah, I'm gonna make a nice skirt steak this weekend. Like, why do you have to go in there and be like, well, this is too expensive and this is too expensive and this is too expensive and this is... All right, well, I guess I just back to beans and rice again. Cilantro is crazy. True. Some non-diarrhea greens. uh... My close friend and her husband are both PhDs working in STEM. They have a young daughter. Between medical bills, childcare, and mortgage, they are paycheck to paycheck. That's insane. I just don't understand the world where, like, if you don't... And I think everybody has maybe met someone who spends a little bit crazy. If you spend a reasonable amount of money, you don't really buy luxury goods. Maybe you pay for, like, a AAA game once every couple months. Not even once a month. And you don't really buy anything outside of that. Like, you don't really go out of your way to, like, swipe your card all of the time on a million different things. And somehow going to the grocery store is still expensive. Like, isn't that bad? Isn't that a bad thing? I don't mean to be bold, but I think if you don't spend a lot of your money on, like, luxury goods... or you spend like basically none, you don't eat out, you don't go out for dinner, you don't go out for drinks, you should be able to go to the grocery store, get everything you want to get, pay and not spend $300 just to like, what? Have like chicken that week.
Exaggeration. So if you've been to the grocery store and you've noticed that prices are up, it's a wild exaggeration. Also note that Ben didn't put meat in that little medley that he calls a burrito there. So let's actually take a look at the data. Let's put D6 up here on the screen. Here we go. Grocery prices. 5 years ago. What do we see? Oh, interesting. The price of food purchased for home use from 2019 through June 2026 is up 33%. Consumers are now buying fewer of their favorite foods or less food overall, which might explain why actually that you might be spending the same percent of your income on food, but you're actually buying worse food for you. Now, another thing, Americans have become a lot more health conscious.
Isn't that so crazy? Wow. People are buying less of their favorite foods and less food overall, and yet they're spending, how much is this? Let's see, it goes from 10 to 35, 3 times as much. Oh, it says 33%. Wow, isn't that crazy? Whoa. Also, why don't they mention shrinkflation? Everything costs more because they give you less. Yup. One chatter said, my ex-roommate, who I helped co-sign her a car for her, went 7 months without paying the car, but note she would constantly eat out, get her nails done, get her hair done, and she completely ruined my credit. I'm so sorry. Yeah. And, like, I you just can't shut up, Skulls. Just can't debate the points, can't you? Every poor should only get 1 bean with no meat every other day and suffer for the rest. That's how life is supposed to be. I've heard from actual people friends and not the filthy poor. Trust me, I know what the filthy poor need. It's fucking nuts. I just went out to get cat food, lunch, and a few dress shirts for a wedding trip next weekend, and I literally spent $150. Yay! You mean you don't like to do that? You mean you don't like to do that? Like, let me just say, coming from someone, all right, I never get my nails done. Mostly, admittedly, it's because I don't like sitting in a salon. I will admit, I want the nails. I just don't want to sit there for an hour. So I don't do my nails. Okay? The best I can do is keep them clean and short. And sometimes I will put on a simple, like one simple color. But that's because I don't want to have to go to the nail salon and then sit there. And then there's this like, they try to talk to you and then you're like, yeah, haha. No, I'm just wanted to get them done. You know, I'm not doing it. And I just don't. I can't. It's the same reason that I hate going to the hair salon. It's like the prospect of sitting there for hours. It's just, I hate it. I hate it so bad. I like talking to the people. I just don't like sitting there and you're stuck. You know, you're just like, that's it. That time has been committed. You can't uncommit that time. Get a friend who will do your nails in their house. True. Honestly, true. What was I gonna say? Yes. I was gonna say something. Got my nails done for the first time getting married tomorrow, and they had 4 screens playing 4 different crime shows, and they were playing country music. I'm never going back. I know. Just between the sound and the smell, I can't do it, man. It's just like, it's like a sensory nightmare in there, man. And they always like, they don't even do a good job either, I feel like. They always like fuck up my cuticles when I go in. Sometimes they just paint on my cuticle. I feel like I've been to so many places and they all fuck it up. So I'm like tired of going. I used to pay $210 for a decent amount of groceries. Now it costs almost $300. I also generally like to eat the same exact things. Not looking so good for the rad score right now, I'm going to be honest. Don't like going to salons because of the sensory nightmare. Eat the same meal over and over again. What was I trying to say? Oh, I don't DoorDash. Also, personally, it's like it's a personal reason I don't DoorDash, which is I just don't feel like it's worth. Like I know that DoorDash is skimming off the top, and the driver isn't getting it, and the restaurant isn't getting it, and some other piece of shit is getting it. So I like don't DoorDash. I don't Uber Eats ever. The only time I make that exception is like if I have guests over, which happens like maybe a couple times a year at most. And I don't do it outside of that. And also I have terrible DoorDash luck. We DoorDashed. I was over at a friend's place. Like the 5 of us all DoorDashed. And the only order that didn't come in was mine, by the way. They gave me my coleslaw and that was it. And I was like, so where's the... Maybe somebody else has it? Let me... 1, 2... Yeah, I don't think mine came... Like, I have terrible DoorDash luck. One time I DoorDashed... I don't even know how this happened. A Taco Bell Crunchwrap Supreme, and there was no meat inside of it. And I, like, double-checked my order. I'm like, maybe I wrote, like, no meat or something. And it's there. It says meat there! So I have really bad... I DoorDashed Panda Express once, and it was missing one of the entrees. I have, like, such bad DoorDash luck. There's always something wrong. There's always something missing, or there's something wrong with my meal. Or whatever. DoorDash drivers fucking skimming. But how would they have skimmed the meat out of my Crunchwrap Supreme? They opened it in the car, they licked it clean, and then they closed it? How would they have done that, you know? Very carefully, Denims. So yeah, I feel like I besides the fact that I'm also really unlucky with DoorDash orders, that's like I roll nat ones exclusively with DoorDash orders. One's got a Big Mac with the patty is the bread and the bread is the patty. That's pretty funny, actually. I would be pissed if they forgot my orange chicken. I'm pretty sure they did, but anyways, moving on. So besides my terrible luck, it just I know I'm being scammed. There are some things that, like, on principle I cannot pay for because I just know that it's a complete scam. Like, there's some asshole profiting off of this entire exchange of goods. And it's not delivery that I have a problem with, to be clear. Because I remember back in my day, before the advent of Uber Eats, you would just call the pizza parlor and they would deliver it and you would just tip the driver like $5. They'd bike over. And then you'd be like, oh, thanks, man. Here you go. And then you just give them $5. And it was like a $15 pizza or whatever. It came quickly. It was always good. And then you could just tip the driver directly with cash. And like DoorDash, it's like the pizza goes from being $15 to being $40. And then the driver got like $1 of tip. It's like, what? What the fuck? Fry's whole job in Futurama. I know. Yet another industry ruined by private equity. Yeah, but how do I make room for a middleman that way? Back in my day, we used to throw rocks at each other. Shut up. But anyway, so yeah, I just like, on principle, I feel like I can't DoorDash. You know what I mean? Like, it's just my opinion. If everyone would be respectful about my opinion. There's something else I was going to say on that. If you're someone who doesn't DoorDash, you don't like get your nails done, you don't use Prize Picks or whatever, you don't like have any expensive hobbies, you don't go out and eat, you don't do any of that stuff, shouldn't you be able to go to the grocery store and just buy what you want? If in all of these other aspects of your life, you don't spend money, shouldn't you be able to go to the grocery store and be like, you know what? Yeah, I do want skirt steak. But, you know what? No, I do want to make some shawarma. Let me get some chicken. No, I really do want that. Like, shouldn't you be able to just go pick out a meat that you want? You're like, I actually want pork chops for dinner today. And not worry that the pork chops are going to be $500. Like, what the fuck? Shouldn't you be able to? I don't understand.
Ryan, so some of the stuff you and I grew up eating, we would never feed to our children. I can raise my hand and say that. What's a half gallon of grass-fed milk go for right now?
Oh God,
$7.50.
Yes, depending where you get it,
$8 a gallon. You want 18 pasture-raised eggs? That's going to cost you maybe $10, $15, depending on where you're buying it from. People would say, "Hey, organic food has always been more expensive." Okay, I choose to do that because I want my daughter to have a healthy brain. Not saying judging or anybody out there who can't afford it. I'm just saying, if you
his cigar does CPS. He did CPS. Okay, guys, I will admit I do have one in exchange for no DoorDash. There is one thing that I buy that's really good. It's expensive, but it's good. Okay. Weed. No, I don't do weed. I do weed once in a while, once in like a blue moon. Mostly because I have a lot of work I always want to get done, and I can't do work when I'm weeding, you know what I mean? Also, it makes me so hungry. But no. There is one item that I pay a primo price for. And I know it's more, I like my suffering raw, no weed. There's one product that I pay a primo price for, but it feels worth it for me. And that is the Fairlife skim milk. But the macros are so fucking good. I can't help it, man. Now, I know what people are thinking. Skim milk? Ew, what the fuck is wrong with you? No, you guys don't understand. You haven't had the Fairlife skim milk. I have been an anti skim milk. I didn't even like normal store milk. Because okay, so I'm pretty sure, chat, past year has been me sort of coming to terms very slowly with the fact that I'm almost certainly, definitely lactose intolerant. But if I never test for it and I also ignore it, it will hurt me, and then I will pretend like it's not hurting me. So if I'm gonna enjoy milk, I don't want like the normal gallon milk. And so for a while I was only drinking organic milk. And I will say, I feel like most products you can't tell the difference between normal and organic, but organic milk, it's so rich. Organic milk is so fucking rich. And I recently switched from that to the ultra filtered milk. And I gotta tell you guys, man, the macros are insane on ultra filtered milk. I know that there are other companies that also do the ultra filtered milk. The brand is not relevant. But this is here are the macros of normal milk. Girl, just keep some chewable lactate tabs. I mean, I do that already. Usually it just makes my tummy hurt. That's it. I'm just like, ah. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm fine. So even if I don't, it's like not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, ultra filtered milk is dope, okay? Let me pull up this normal whole milk. Nutrition. Okay, these are the macros on normal whole milk. Normal nutrition. Normal nutrition facts for normal whole milk. 150 calories, 8 grams of protein. These are the macros for the ultra filtered milk. $80 calories, 13 grams of protein. Yeah. Yeah. And I know what you guys are thinking. That probably tastes awful. It doesn't. It's actually so good. But to be fair, I don't drink milk by the glass. So maybe if you drink milk by the glass, you would feel a difference. I only consume milk with my cereal. Try almond milk. Almond milk doesn't have the same protein, and the macros on soy are also not as good. I was on almond milk for a little bit, and then I saw the macros on this, and I was like, these are too good. These macros are too good. Like oat milk, soy protein milk, almond milk, none of them get close to these macros. So I gotta tell you guys, if you care about getting your protein, this stuff is so good, dude. Yeah, I only use milk for my coffee, and for my cereal. That's it. And I have not noticed a difference between the two. Isn't there an Aldi version of Fairlife? There's a million different like versions of Fairlife. I wouldn't go out of your way to support Fairlife, considering the brand sucks. But it's more so that the ultra Fairlife has popularized ultra filtered milk, and now other companies are doing creating ultra filtered milk as well, and it's so dope. Yeah, it's owned by Coke. That's why I'm like, I think Fairlife was the first company that started pushing ultra filtered milk that has these dope ass macros. But there are a bunch of other companies that are making dupes now, which is why I want to talk about it. So if you can find a company near you that or a store near you that has it, it's so good, dude. It's so good. So anyways. Was that an ad read? No. I mean, considering that I specifically said don't support Fairlife, no. Yeah. And I will tell you guys, for the purpose of cereal, the flavor is not going from like my organic milk to going to the protein milk. It tastes exactly the same. Like it literally tastes exactly the same. It's so good. Cereal is just so unhealthy and processed, I feel like. Yeah, but I like having it in the morning. So I really want to know what's wrong with the macros on soy. It's more so that like soy milk tastes like soy. It tastes like soy. It doesn't have like a neutral taste. I think the closest milk to having a neutral taste is oat milk. But the sad thing about oat milk is that it's like it's very micronutrient devoid. So soy milk is great if you're making a coffee and you want like a nutty milk in there, a nutty milk flavor in there. But if you're having it with cereal, it's like all you can taste is cereal. Or sorry, is the soy milk. And then unfortunately oat milk doesn't have the protein. And it's also very devoid of micronutrients, which is sad. Yeah, oat milk is secretly terrible for you. But it sucks because it's like the best tasting plant-based milk. Maybe they've since made like really good oat protein milk or something, but it has fiber, but just fiber. Like it just doesn't have anything else in it is all. Why is it bad for you? Again, it just doesn't have anything else in it other than like fiber. It's just missing micronutrients. It's just not, maybe if they make fortified oat milk, it'd be pretty good. Does it have any weird texture? No. I've never had a milk that's had a weird texture before. Coconut milk sometimes will have that texture if you get it like, you guys know the cartons of milk that stay warm because they have like preservatives or whatever in them. Those, sometimes the coconut milk will have a weird texture. Oat milk has never had a weird texture for me. Almond milk has never had a weird texture. So. Anyways. That's enough of that topic. I don't want to devolve into bean soup territory. Where the conversation becomes like, well, I like that recipe and everything, but can you make a bean soup recipe without any beans in it? I don't like beans. I don't eat any beans. I was just sharing. This is the one thing that I like to... I know that the ultra filtered milk is more expensive, but it's worth every penny. It's worth every penny for the good ass macros, man.
Want to buy a little bit healthier option, you've actually seen the skyrocketing costs in that as well. So altogether, especially whenever you put not just healthy options, let's put that off the table, even just, you know, wholesale beef prices up dramatically under the Trump presidency and especially from the beginning of 2020. But this basically comes down to their message of, if you're mad about the cost of living increase on the Iran war, you're a surrender monkey and you are somebody who is, you know, pro-Iran nuclear weapon. That's why they're going so hard about this. So for example, let's put D3 up here on the screen. Here is Mark Thiessen, one of the preeminent neocons in Washington, responding to the "a burrito shouldn't cost $20. Mark says, cry me a river. The burritos in the college cafeteria are included in your meal plan. He later spazzed out after the vice president, let's put his tweet up here on the screen, said, what did he say?
JD,
he said, I'm surprised to hear Mark say this. If you've ever met him in person, it's quite obvious the man has never missed a burrito. That's definitely true. Seen Mark in person a few times. And fat shaming aside, which is always healthy whenever we're talking about somebody who is trying to send your sons and daughter to a war.
Also, meal plan. The universities I went to didn't have meal plans that I could rely on. I had to pay out of pocket for the school cafeteria. Maybe people who were dorming, they had meal plans. I went to a commuter school. So I paid out of pocket for that.
Self wouldn't even qualify for military service. Whenever we look at this, you know, grotesque creature on our screens who says things like, we're not a real superpower if you can't afford $4 gasoline, and who brags about how he worked his way through college in the 1980s, and then tells people, cry me a river, you should go and eat at your cafeteria. What they're saying is, if you're mad about the cost of living concern, number one, it was Biden's fault, and number two, you are offering surrender to Iran. That's why they're going so hard right now, Ryan. And this connects me back to the original attack that we had on Al Sayed, where he's out here being like, I want things to cost less. I want your health. But, you know, we don't even talk about healthcare premium. Mine went up by 24% year over year. Okay, cool. No saying that or any of that. I know some of my in-laws, I remember theirs was up by.
And the thing is, I think people wouldn't give a shit about grocery prices increasing if everything else was staying the same or going down. But like, it's not like you can choose to get a different healthcare plan that would cost significantly less. You're kind of like fucked. Not that healthcare plans aren't different, but almost every single healthcare company and insurance company is trying to fucking scam you. Same thing with the pay that you get at your job. Same thing with the rent that you have to pay for your housing. And then when all of that shit adds up and then you go to the grocery store and stuff is supposed to be, this should be one of the few places where things don't cost $1 million that you need to live off of. I think it's easy to be like, hello? Is it not enough that I get scammed for my housing? I get scammed with my utilities. I get scammed with my insurance, with my healthcare. I get scammed everywhere else in my life. And now I have to get scammed for food. All right. Only the Costco hot dog has been loyal.
Like 400% before they have to qualify for Medicare. But that's my point, is that you don't even talk about this stuff now anymore whenever it comes to affordability. And it's especially hard because, as you and I know, a conservative meme, which became very effective under the Biden presidency, was like at the gas pump, you know, in some boomer Republican would put a sticker of Biden being like, I did that. Yeah. Which was effective. I mean, it absolutely was. Or when we would talk about groceries, what's his name? The Republican governor of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin, he ran in Virginia on reducing the grocery tax. Right. Like that was a central pillar of his campaign. And now prices are high and remain high under Trump. It's, actually, it's your fault. You're a spoiled little loser if you want to afford a cheap burrito.
And we already did this whole thing 10 years ago with avocado toast. Yeah, the whole reason the millennials are falling behind is not because the complete erosion of the public welfare and the kind of seizing of wealth by the top 0.1%.
Sorry, I just like processed who I was looking at. That's enough of that. Anyways, it's perfect timing because I wanted to watch the Jon Stewart thing. That's enough of that. Now. Okay, content warning. I'm putting the ogre on the screen. Okay. I apologize for what I'm about to do to all of you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Show podcast on this summer day, August 4th, Tuesday, primary day, election day. Hear ye, hear ye. I voted. Sticker. That was my one-man show called Primary Day, which happens in August, which, as you know, is great for turnout. We don't know, actually, what happened in those. We're taping this podcast before the results are in. So by the time you hear it, you will know the results of all the hot primaries in Michigan and everywhere else. And it'll look like we don't and that we're ignoring it. But we're not ignoring it, people. I'm not a time traveler. But we are going to be talking to somebody who has very strong opinions about what should happen in this very primary season. And he doesn't know the results of it either. So we're going to be talking about elections and the results of elections and what those elections might mean for people, all while ignoring the results of said elections, which might make us seem crazy. But there's probably so much more in this conversation that's going to make it seem crazy. So let's just get to it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get right to it. We have
the best thing about Jon Stewart's career is that it led to John Oliver getting a show. So true.
Today, a senator, United States Senator for the great state of Pennsylvania. Go fight and
Sorry, I have to look at the spoilers. That is the YouTube comments.
Quakers. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator John Fetterman. Sir, first of all, where's Senator Fetterman? All I see is
the second most upvoted comment. No, the most upvoted comment. The conversation between Jon Stewart and AIPAC. Hey, it's that guy conservatives hated until his brain stopped working. It was great to hear from the honorable senator of Tel Aviv. It's genuinely hard to watch Fetterman speak. Painful to watch. Never been so relieved to hear ad breaks before.
Is a guy wearing a suit and tie. So
yeah, this is not AI. It's not AI.
Hey, who you calling Pinhead Larry?
If I could AI impose this suit, I would. But no, yeah, I'm in a suit. But yeah, normally
you have a job interview today.
I thought, wait, I'm already in it, so maybe I could just be a treat for everybody.
I feel terrible now.
Yeah.
I thought, well,
yeah, and I'm sorry if you dressed in honor, you might on a business casual like this.
So how are things?
It's giving Ethan Klein.
Going down there, do you like being a senator? Is that something that is that an enjoyable job, or is it just you sit around just fighting with everybody? What's the vibe down there?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a mixed thing. I mean, it's obviously an honor to be one of Pennsylvania's voice here in the United States Senate, and it's also some of it's professional wrestling, not really kind of important stuff. But some of it's very important as well, too. And that's really why people, I assume, get into this to be a part of that conversation. So overall, but I think I've said this, people would be surprised. It's not exactly really glamorous. And now, like for me, I have a 300 square apartment here in DC back there.
Look at you.
It's not like, there's not a lot of snappy, West Wing kind of dialogue back and forth thing.
Right.
A lot of it's more kind of like, kind of.
Are you sure that that's accurate, or is that just your opinion? You're not following what's happening.
Kind of a thing, but sometimes it is really important thing that will impact a lot of millions and millions of Americans.
Are you guys going to have your recess in August, or are they keeping you there?
As far as I know. Last night there was an overwhelming bipartisan procedural vote last night for a continuing resolution. And I think it was 89-4.
Can I guess the 4?
Yeah, no shutdown. No shutdown. Yeah.
Rand Paul.
Yeah, well, of course. He votes no on he would be like Cheeseburger and he would vote that shit down. I mean,
right.
But yeah, and then I think it was Warren.
You would be like Cheeseburger, and then you would vote that down. What? Maybe that's a saying that I don't know about. That you would be like Cheeseburger.
And then I think Sanders. But overall, some people didn't go there because it was a travel day. But that's a strong statement saying that we want to avoid another shutdown. And I'm elated to know that, without a doubt. I mean, we've been through the 2 longest shutdowns.
Jon Stewart interviewing Ethan Klein is crazy.
Downs of all American history. And that maybe at some time put me at odds with my party, because it's always a bad thing to shut our government down. And it shuts down parts of critical of our country. And it also punishes a lot of these workers. Now, everyone here in Congress are paid, but the people that aren't are like the people on the front line, like at TSA and doing those things. So overall, we have to find a better way to figure out things without shutting our down in kind of a tantrum.
Without shutting it down. This is elder abuse. Delete it now. Stop.
How at odds are you with the party? You said it sometimes puts you at odds. You're the guy everybody points to now as you're in the, I guess, mansion or cinema role, the kind of contrarian. So what's your relationship now with that?
Thanks for bringing that up. And no, I mean, it's not that at all. I mean, I deeply respect them as well too, but I'm not that. I think it's like an easy take to assume that, and that's just not me. if you look at my voting record, I'm in 90 some percent voting the Democrat line. And now how I differ is, and that's become much more and more pronounced, is real, after 10/7, the gods of war, and as nobody really saw how things would continue. We wouldn't be part of it. Now here we have at the Iranian war now, and then in smaller other kinds of way, shutting our government down.
Dude, it's so bad. It's so bad. This feels like elder abuse, man.
Countless kinds of vote to shut our government down. I would vote with the Republican side, not because I am a Republican, but just the Democratic Party. We used to always be the party that says we must never shut our government down. That was part of what the Democratic Party really was. And I represent Pennsylvania, really the most purple state really in the country. And now I don't represent just Democrats. I represent all people here in Pennsylvania. So these views are firmly rooted in basic kinds of democratic values. But after the Trump re-election, that just kind of flipped some things on its head.
And do you attribute that to, what they call Trump derangement syndrome? Do you believe that the Democratic Party in those instances is suffering?
I agree. It is a real thing. And that makes it more difficult to try to call balls and strike. And now, I'm aware that if I happen to disagree with like the party.
Is that a saying? Balls and strike? Balls and stripe? Balls in strike? I don't know anything about sports. I don't know what sport it's supposed to be. Is it strike or stripe? Balls and strike. I say it every day. Okay, balls and strikes is a real saying. It's supposed to be strikes plural. I heard balls in stripe. Baseball saying. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Yes, Trump derangement syndrome is real.
Line, there's a price to pay, but I think it's more important to be, hey, I honestly think this is the right take, and I think what's appropriate. And no, I mean, there's a lot of stories of how I've become, increasingly more unpopular with Democrats in my state, and I'm aware of it. But these were all very specific choices because I think, this is the correct take. And now I would rather have people know what I happen to believe, because
I would rather people know that I stand with genocide. I want people to know that.
Again, they're rooted in very democratic kinds of values.
Well, let me sort of, so let's tease that out a little bit, because in America right now, the Republicans have the Senate, the House, the judiciary.
They have the trifecta.
Supreme Court, and they have the presidency.
Yeah.
Democrats represent, it's a pretty 50-50 country, wouldn't you say? I mean, right now, at least, Democrats are represented by, millions and millions and millions of votes, but they don't really have, the way that the Republicans have governed, any say in anything. And so wouldn't you say that trying to use any leverage that they possibly could have to get things like reforms to ICE agents that don't seem to be trained, that are creating violence in the streets of America, that aren't going after the worst of the worst, but are frightening, hardworking immigrants into staying in their homes? Don't you think that's a legitimate reason to try and leverage whatever opportunity they would have? TDS seems like a convenient excuse for a lot of legitimate concerns.
Yeah, well, the only actual tool and the only actual real leverage that Democrats have, that's the filibuster, 100%. And I just had an op-ed in the Washington Post, and I was trying to remind America and Democrats specifically that we, including me, we were so wrong about scrapping the filibuster back in the 2022 cycle. Now, we all ran on that. And
you guys can trust him. It's not like he's ever been wrong about anything else.
And we all were committed to eliminate the filibuster. And if we were successful, we may have passed some things back in 22, but 100% in January of 2024 or 2025, they would have been able to run the table, 100% run the table. And if anyone that's listening have been horrified or troubled by a lot of legislation being proposed, that would have been amateur hour compared to how they would have been able to remake our society, because they would have had the trifecta. Trump was at the apex of his power, and they could have passed and done everything. And if the Senate was working on basic majority like the House, we would have rendered ourselves as essentially a smaller version of the House, and they would have been able to remake our society.
Wouldn't you say they have remade our society, by using gimmicks like reconciliation, by using executive power in ways that hadn't been used before? Haven't they done that already?
Yeah, well, a lot of those executive orders were just overturned or stopped by the courts. And now I know I kind of got whacked when I said, well, what is a real constitutional crisis? That's when the president is going to defy, court orders. And because.
But he did. Is he saying that he called out Trump or something?
It doesn't describe the solution in the Constitution. That's a crisis. And as far as I know, that the president hasn't defied a single court.
Stop. This is not a real interview. This is not a real interview. This is a fake interview pushed by the fake media. Trump has not defied a single court order is incredible. This walking vlog camera is crazy stuff. The first ever sentient vlog camera. Well, barely sentient.
Order. Now, a lot of noise, but he hasn't defied any
Jon Stewart being like, well.
Specific ones. And that's the way the system's supposed to work.
Well, he has. I mean, he's defied court orders and congressional law. I mean, just even in the TikTok case, you guys voted that had to be divested, and he ignored that. He just didn't do it. And then he handed a pretty powerful social media tool to his friends, the Ellisons and other people. I guess that's my point is.
John Fetterman controlling himself to say, I'm feeling a lot of anti-Semitism in your statement.
I understand you're saying there are certain norms or things that you don't want Democrats to do. But given the legitimate concerns that people have about executive overreach, these types of.
Absolutely, that's a real thing.
But of course.
Yeah, but I'd like to revisit this idea, the filibuster, the Democratic Party, and I am part of it, and I was definitely part of that, to eliminating the filibuster, how dangerous that was if we.
So we're just going to ignore that. We're going to ignore that completely? Okay. Sorry. You know what? Sorry. My bad. You went on this whole tirade about how Democrats are hallucinating Trump disobeying the Constitution and disobeying court orders. And then when you were given an example of him doing that, you're like, well, yeah, it is dangerous, but yeah. Oh, okay. Asarch, thank you for the gift sub. My orange cat has more brain cells than this ogre of a senator. Chatter, are you good? I think this chatter is struggling with sarcasm. Are you good, buddy? Wait, she's pro-Hamas genociding Israel? She said she's pro-genocide. I was sarcastically making fun of John Fetterman because John Fetterman is pro the genocide of the Palestinian people if it means he gets to give Israel $1 trillion. So it's not fake news anymore because you called out the ignoring court order claim. What? I'm being sarcastic. When I said this is fake news and I was laughing my ass off, that was sarcasm. Just assume this stream is a lot of sarcasm, little buddy.
We were successful, and they would have been able to pass every single wish list, on the Republican playbook. And now we would have been a whim of the political extremism, and they'd be able to pass everything. the only thing that we've ever stopped, Save America Act.
Yeah, that's the only thing the filibuster has actually done.
Yeah.
In fact, you've played kind of a role in, getting their nominees going. You've been kind of the contradictory vote from the Democrats to get him some pretty controversial appointees. I'm just curious because the filibuster seems like it hasn't.
Have you seen Abdul's grandparents ad? No, I haven't. Can you link it?
Really stopped them from getting the people that they want, getting unqualified people into the cabinet, into the Department of Justice.
Yeah, I mean, and many of them I didn't vote for. And if you're going to bring up Blanche, I'm not going to vote for him as well too. There's some that I would vote for, and then there's many that I haven't because that it's just I don't believe that's the kind of right person for the job. Overall,
Taking a stand against Todd Blanche is really funny as John Fetterman.
Well, I really try to call balls and strikes. I do think, like, for example, Mayorkas, he did a terrible job. He was never should be impeached. He didn't break the law. Incompetence, is not, for impeachment. But overall, trying to describe an honest assessment that as a Democrat from Pennsylvania, that's been my role. And if you look at my voting record, I haven't changed these core things like pro-choice. I don't turn our back on the gay or trans community in America, and very, very pro-immigration, very, very pro-union. All of those kind of boilerplate kinds of Democratic
That's not true.
issues that hasn't changed. So that's where we're at. And now you talk about ICE, absolutely. Like I called for Noam, she has to go, and now we brought in a new leader now. I've said this, deport all of the criminals, 100% deport all of them. I hope we could all
I love immigration. Deport all of the criminals.
agree on those things. We need to secure our border. We do need to secure our border. And then I've said, do not.
I have all the boilerplate left-leaning positions like we need secure borders.
Target otherwise hardworking, migrants that are a very important part of our economy, specifically like in my state in agriculture too, or tourism, or these other kinds of positions too, trying to find the right balance of secure a border, deport all the criminals, but stop targeting otherwise innocent kinds of migrants here, including my family. My wife was a former dreamer. Yeah.
Right. But that's my point is, so they are targeting those people and they are, there have been killings and even Homan has admitted that the training on the killing in I can't remember if it was Maine or if it was the one in Minnesota, there's quite a few of them. So I guess my question to you is, you're agreeing with the majority, I think, of Democrats on that, but not agreeing.
I've been very clear, vocal,
right, but not agreeing with their method of trying. How do
But the problem is you can't say that you're a Democrat and you have all the boilerplate positions, and then the second you get the opportunity to, you just regurgitate right-wing talking points or right-wing framing. If you're claiming to be on the left, and this should be true of the right-wingers, like right-wingers understand this, right-wingers lose when they accept left-wing framing. So why do Democrats think that they should accept right-wing or Republican framing and that they should still win and that they're on the left? It's not something that happens with Republicans. Republicans don't say, well, it's not that I don't like trans people. I just, I need to know that I'm with you guys on that. They don't do that. They don't do that because it's losing. This isn't even about what your moral stance is at this point or what you think is morally reprehensible. This is just about winning. You're not going to win an election or win public support if you're just constantly espousing what the other side wants. Republicans don't give ground on things. They don't say, well, I really just want to help all of the queer people. I just think we should be they don't say that. What? They literally don't say that. They just say, no, we need to get these psychopaths. We need to get the litter boxes out of the schools. And then, so when Fetterman does it, it's this isn't even, why do you think you're unlikable? Why do you think people on the left don't like you? It's because you keep insisting on accepting Republican framing and saying we need to secure borders. It's in an attempt to virtue or vice signal to Republicans. It's not effective for winning support on your side. Hello, is that just me? They don't feel like this is. Well, I guess he has had a stroke, but other Democrats that haven't had strokes don't understand this. Sorry, this chatter made me happy. I don't watch streams normally. Only thing I knew of this girl was from negative posters like Asmongold, I think. But now I'm like, how the hell did I not know she was probably cool as fuck? I hate to see a bad bitch winning. You know, it's just so hard having all the bitches in the world and lobsters so buttery. They gotta cope and seethe, you know? Oh, God.
Democrats influence that if the Trump administration is running roughshod over what you just said. They're not just doing the criminals. They've deported citizens or they've jailed citizens. They've taken immigration, which was generally a civil concern, and made it a criminal concern. They want to build giant warehouses where they just bring people that are there on civil violations or what used to be civil violations.
And this is why, by the way, people like Mamdani and they like Abdul Sayed and why they like the hardcore left-leaning people. It's because they don't accept the Republican framing. It's not an effective strategy to accept your opposition's framing. And this feels basic for us, but somehow Democrats don't understand it, or they just pretend like... This is why everyone thinks that Democrats actively try to lose. Because, like, again, Republicans don't do this. Republicans don't say, no, it's not that I have a problem with trans people. I just think that we should make sure that schools are, like, protected and there are no kids. No, they just go straight to, we shouldn't be pushing this mental illness on our children. That's what they go straight to. They don't talk about immigration and say, you know, it's not. It's like, I really care about immigrants in this country. Immigrants have made this country. We are the home. We are a country made by immigrants for immigrants. They don't say that. When Republicans want to win, they say, we need secure borders. We need to get rid of every single illegal immigrant that is ruining this country. The illegal immigrants that are killing you and your family members. It's like, whoa. So why the fuck, like, if it's not an effective strategy, why are we doing that? Why do Democrats insist on running on this messaging that immediately accepts a faulty premise and concedes? Why are we already beginning with concession?
So if they can't use things like a threat of a shutdown, where would you suggest they use their lack of power?
Well, you know, I work with the new Secretary Mullen, and now all of those warehouses in Pennsylvania were canceled. I mean, that's a fact. And shut the government down on that. There wasn't one single ICE reforms or anything. You know, like, you can want reforms and you can engage in those dialogue, but shutting the government down when that has zero impact on the way Homeland Security is going to operate, because they were funded through the big, beautiful bill. The thing that I did not vote for that as well, too. They had unlimited money. So for me, it was a decision. Said, should I just vote to shut our government down, even though every single Democrat in my caucus knew that it would have no direct or even indirect leverage over ICE to behave the way that we all want them to do? So do that. That's a demand from an agitated, angry base. And I'm willing to say, look, that's the wrong thing. That's the wrong solution for a reasonable conversation to have with people saying we want to make those kind of changes for ICE.
So what is the way to make those?
Again, like, I'm just being a broken record right now. This is just, why begin on a concession? Why? It's just not been an effective strategy. So why keep doing it? I don't understand.
Changes, because my understanding of the shutdown was they were saying we will shut it down unless you make those changes, not that somehow that those changes would be made because it wasn't funded. I understand that that's what you're saying, but that was the threat.
Yeah, and there was no forced any kinds of things. So we, you know, the Democratic caucus there walked away with empty pockets about shutting our government down on both sides. So that's it's a reasonable kinds of concerns, but it's the wrong tool or the solution in order to achieve it. Win elections, and then that puts you in the better position to make those kind of changes.
You know, I think that's enough for today. I think that's enough for today. You know what? That's enough. That's enough for today. All right, we'll pick it up tomorrow. Dude, I see why. I've never seen the comments of a Jon Stewart video be so one-sided against like the guest. It's crazy. Actually, I'm sure if you look at like the Jon Stewart talking to Mamdani, let's see the comments. Let's see. Save these two men at all costs. Mamdani actually seems like a normal person, not talking in circles. It's nice to hear everyone in this city deserves to live a life of dignity. How radical. Emotional intelligence is something so incredibly rare these days. I respect his ability to really listen and learn from even those who deride him. He smiles and moves forward, even though there are people who will wish him ill and will want him to fail. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for showing us all what is possible. He's incredibly smart. Can we have more like, do you see the night and day? Oh my god. Okay, that's enough of that. Well, everyone, thank you all for tuning into the stream. Tomorrow we will have a fun Saturday ahead of us. I'll make you guys listen to more of this brain damage. And then, oh man, I have some other stuff that I think will be fun, but I don't want to spoil anything, okay? Let's just say it's a particular article of clothing on a particular body. That is what I will say. I don't know if it counts as clothing, I guess. It can't be anything else. Well, anyways, we'll talk about it. You guys already know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. All right. Well, I will see all of you wonderful people tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Stay hydrated. Tell your homies you love them. And I will see all of you guys in the next one. Bye. Someone in chat guessed it.